So Saturday in Wexford Park sees the local derby between Shelmaliers and Crossabeg-Ballymurn. Last year these teams met and Crossabeg-Ballymurn won by 115 to 16 points. Brodie Murphy, who's not available this year through injury, scored the all-important goal, and many would have seen this as a big shock, but Crossabeg-Ballymurn were on great form last year and they'll be delighted to have stayed up number one, and now they can have a real cut at the Shelmaliers.
The monkeys off the back with Ballymurn, the pressure was on there against Clebon to win that match, and I think they're going in with at least a life in regard of a shot to nothing to beat a local rival in regard of they beat them last year. So I just think Ballymurn are probably happy with what they have. The Shells want to win a county final. I think the Shells at the start of the year, they're not happy enough with just getting to a quarter final, semi final. The Shells are going all out to win a county final. With the football being finished now, they can throw their eggs in one basket in regard of, I think that's going to be a big help, for the Shelmaliers, and I just think that they will probably have a bit too much.
You just wonder, with the manner of defeat in the football at the weekend days, they were 12 points up and ended up losing the game by 5 or 6 after extra time, and Crossabeg-Ballymurn are now in the county semi-final, and they're going in on a high. Shelmaliers, it's never a good idea getting bet, as we both know, so you just wonder, will that play a part in it?
The preparation for these two teams would have been non-existent in regard of trying to work on maybe puckouts or game plans or stuff like that, because of the football being, you're trying to mind bodies and recovery times. You don't want an injury, like a lot of squads don't have enough players that you can afford to try and risk it in regard of training properly and doing so. Like, that's the problem with this game in regard of the two teams have played a lot of football in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Ballymurn have the advantage of having a game again, Clebon, which the Shells' last game was again Allgate 5 weeks ago. I think it was 20 degrees, hard solid in Belfield. You're going into Wexford Park now, a little bit different. So all them things, are they going to be a factor on Sunday?
I think a lot of people underestimate Crossabeg-Ballymurn. As I keep saying, they have about 7 players that would get on the Shelmaliers team, no problem. The 2 Foleys, 3 Devickses, Jack Fortune and Mark Byrne and Noel Scanlon in the goal. And the game has changed considerably over the last few years, but this time of the year, if you have a very good goalie, if you have a good centre back and you have a top class free taker, you'll always be in with a chance. And I think, to be fair, Crossabeg-Ballymurn tick all those boxes.
As you said, Ed, athletically as well. One thing with the Shells, they're probably not too many you've Conor Hearn, you've Simon Donoghue, not star players on their team. It's more of a high level of a senior player that they have. So Ballymurn can match them physically. You see that they're in the county semi-final in the football. They're a good physical team. They've a big team. They've the Foleys, the Devickses, there's no bigger men in Wexford. Ballymurn have the tools to maybe stop some of the Shells players. It's just I worry about you stop Oisin Foley down for Ballymurn, and the scores might be limited, and if Simon picks him up, Simon's not an easy man to get scores on, and then they might be struggling. The Shells, it's difficult enough what way they're going to line out. Again, Allgate, they went with Sean Keane Carroll inside, Paddy Connors, Conor Hearn actually played inside. I think Conor Hearn is more suited. I think they're going to need him out in the middle of the field, running from deep, controlling him from the middle of the field. But like Ballymurn are there now thinking where are these kind of players going to play. They're top 3 forwards if they are in the forwards. So I would imagine Hearn will probably go back out to the middle field, and I think that's what I'd be doing with the Shells.
I'm expecting this to be a close game, but I think all in all, we have to admit that the Shells probably have a better squad. They've used 25 or 26 players in senior hurling, and I think the longer it goes on, them players will come to the fore, but I think it will be a close game.
This game might be closer than people think. I think on the odds it's a 1-6. The Shelmaliers, I don't see this as a 1-6 game. Going through matchups and stuff like that. The Shells mightn't score a massive amount, so I'm going to tip the Shells, but Ballymurn can stay in this game for a long period. The Shells could get edges. The Shells got beaten by Clabon, they you know, at times again Allgate, they were struggling for the first 30-40 minutes. You know, they played well again the Martins, but they were inconsistent at the minute. You know, that's probably been the Shells over the last 5-6 years. I'll go with the Shells, but I think it's going to be closer than people think.